ICSSR-sponsored national seminar on impact of CSR on corporate sustainability, conducted by the Corporate Secretariat, Sri Ramakrishna College of Arts and Science.
Prayer is an invocation or act that seeks to activate a rapport with an object of worship through deliberate communication. Prayer song by Monapriya of 2nd BCom CS, Aishwarya and Vaishnavi of 1st BCom CS. Let us all rise for the prayer song. Kindly be seated. When darkness comes, let us not condemn the dark, but light a lamp to illuminate. May I now request the dignitaries to inaugurate the event by lighting the lamp. I invite all the dignitaries to the dais.
it a great pleasure to invite the mainstay of our department, our HOD Dr. Sandana Krishnan sir, to welcome the gathering.
Vanakkam. Good morning. It gives me the tremendous contentment to present the welcome address amongst the most esteemed personalities who are often on the dais. Today, the Department of Corporate Secretaryship is organizing the one-day national seminar on the impact of CSR on corporate sustainability, which is sponsored by Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi. The purpose of this seminar is to provide a platform for intellectual exchange and mutual learning. We hope that through the course of this seminar, we will all gain a deeper understanding of the subject and emerge with new ideas and perspectives. First, I would like to welcome our chief guest, the most respected Dr. Nithyanandan Devaraj sir, one of the inspiring and influential speaker who accepted our invitation in a very short span of time. He is one such a person, always inspires the young minds with his thought-provoking ideas and speech. On behalf of this institution, Department of Corporate Secretaryship, and on my own behalf, I welcome you for this nation. Next, I would like to welcome our institutional leader, Principal and Secretary Dr. B.L. Shivkumar sir, a man who is always behind us in all our endeavors. I also welcome you, sir. I am very much delightful and happy in welcoming our today's faculty participants, students participants from various other institutions for this seminar. Next, I would like to welcome all my faculty colleagues, deans, directors, heads of various departments and faculty from various departments of this prestigious institution. Finally, I should not leave this place without welcoming my shining stars, students of Corporate Secretaryship, who are the main source of organizing this event. You students have committed yourself in making this seminar a grand one. With this brief note, once again I welcome you all. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your aspiring welcome address. I now request our principal, Dr. B.L. Shivkumar sir, to felicitate the chief guest with a shawl. Interactions with the young buds are bound to be enriching, source of inspiring and encouragement for everyone. Now, I request our beloved Principal and Secretary, Dr. B.L. Shivkumar sir, to proceed the gathering.
Very good morning. The most respected chief guest of the day, Dr. Nithyanand Devaraj, a seasoned leader. I had a small opportunity to interact with him. I hope today he is going to deliver a lot of good things for all of us. It is a time to learn so many good things from great leaders. Sir, on behalf of my management and all of us here, indeed very happy to have you in this particular function, and I hope your experience, your understanding about the society will give us a lot of light for all the students and the people. Respected aides and my dear beloved student. One good thing about our college, all the HODs are dynamic. Whatever work assigned, they understand and they execute well. இப்போ ஒரு கேள்வி வரும், யார் முன்னாடி ஓடுவாங்க அப்படின்னு. நல்ல கைத்தல் ட்ரை. அதில் சந்தானம் ஆல்வேஸ் stands first. When any job is assigned, he understands the goal and the purpose and he executes well in time. That is the beauty about Santana. Today, we are gathered here for a ICSSR sponsored seminar. This year, our college, we received close to 55 lakhs fund from various organizations. Dr. Sandanam received more than 1 lakh from ICSSR, and we also have Dr. Bhamini Rajshekaran. She also received some fund, and our biotechnology department, they received 52 lakhs from DST. All this fund will be utilized for the benefit of the student and welfare of the student. I hope this one-day seminar will give lot of input to us, and I wish a big success. Thank you.
We hope that with your energy, enthusiasm, focus on education and learning, our institute achieves greater excellence under your leadership and guidance. May we reach to the next levels of glory. Thank you, sir.
Now, we request the dignitaries to unveil the published seminar proceedings. This seminar proceedings consist of 61 research articles submitted by faculty and students from various institutions. A smile is a universal welcome. I now request Dr. Renuka Devi ma'am to introduce our chief guest.
Respected dignitaries on the rise and off the rise, faculty staffs, and my dear student friends, very good morning to you all. This is a wonderful occasion, and I'm all so impressed with the skilled professionals assembled here in this auditorium. I am privileged and humbled to take this opportunity to introduce the chief guest, CEO, Managing Director, CSR, Innovation and Technology Division, a White Group Company, Honorary Director, Founders Development Foundation, Honorary Vice President, Coimbatore Management Association, Chairman, Sri Avinash Yappa Trust. He has completed his PhD in Management Science. He is a gold medalist and university topper at MBA in Finance and Marketing. He has passed degree Mechanical Engineering with a distinction. He is an ICCS certified lead auditor and assessor for ISO 9001 and a qualified auditor for EMS, OHSAS and ENMS. Now he is working as a CEO and business head. About 30 plus years of experience in engineering manufacturing organizations, from hardcore manufacturing and marketing to general management as business head in leading corporates like LMW, L&T, and we are now to wipe a billion-plus German. He considers to be a professional with a rare and professional entrepreneurial intention, being in governing and advisory council of Medicare for underprivileged. Noted for entering service during Chennai, Kerala, and in Thus, we have very profile teachers for us today. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to introduce the chief guest.
Thank you, ma'am. A good speech is like a pencil. It has to have a point. We are privileged to have our chief guest, Dr. Nityanandan Devraj, sir, at this task. I request him to enlighten us with his words.
Morning, friends. இனிய காலை நல்வணக்கங்கள். I'm really privileged and honored to be present amidst this August gathering on a topic of global significance, which is very close to my heart as well. Just before coming in, as Mr. was rightly saying, we were chatting about evolving values. We had some common understanding, probably common agreements as well. இங்க உட்காந்துருக்கேன் பல பேர் சிட்டியில வளர்ந்தவங்க சிட்டியில் பிரெட் சிட்டியிலே வளர்ந்தவங்க சிட்டி பிரெட் How many of you are missing the village life? When others are not exposed to the village life or in the village. Never been. Let me go back to the history a bit. Sure, all of you will agree with me. The global dynamics is always evolving. We all started as an agricultural society as we evolved from the erstwhile human development. We started as an agricultural society, starting with barter system of trade. Thanks to the World War, we became an industrial society. Thanks to the World War again, resulting in consumerism, we became a consumer society. Thanks to the developments in IT, we become an information society. As we move forward, we are wisdom is very different from the degrees what we have. Ultimately, the number of degrees, the collegiate education, what you go through, should eventually result in wisdom. Where does wisdom start? Wisdom starts from respecting ourselves. When we stand in front of the mirror, we should ask ourselves, are we happy with us? That's the starting point of wisdom. Then we make our family happy, then make our immediate, the extended family happy, then society in which we live in happy. And this is what education is all about. This is what knowledge is all about. This is what skill is all about. All these things put together defines the social harmony in which we live. And obviously, that defines our cultural value system. Today, corporate social responsibility cannot exist if we are not ahead in terms of knowledge capital, social capital, and cultural capital. All three have to coexist. இன்னைக்கும் நீங்க திருப்பூர் போனீங்கன்னா there are people who do easily 100 crore turnover without even knowing to write a single sentence in English. I had met few industry because I live in Tirupur. The kind of communal support what they have is unfortunately I'm missing it in Coimbatore. I'm missing it. The competitive world has redefined the way we behave and we interact. Apart from the technological development which we have kind of started living within the shell which we have created for ourselves. All of us, I told principal, victims of our own developments. செல்போன் இல்லாம இன்னைக்கு வந்து காலையில் எழுந்திருக்கிறதுல படிக்கும் போது குட் நைட் போட்டு தான் படுக்கிறோம், எழுந்திரிச்சு குட் மார்னிங் போட்டு தான் படுக்கிறோம், எழுந்திருக்கிறோம். கரெக்டா இல்லைங்களா? Can you imagine a life, a day without cell phone being with us? You can't. Can you imagine a day without internet being with us? So more of these gadgets are used and useful definitely, but we should be very careful with all our education and knowledge, we don't abuse it. That's one of the social responsibilities. Where does corporate social responsibility start? Let us go back a bit in history. How many of you have heard about PSG charities? ஒரு 75 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி அந்த ஃபேமிலி வந்து 4 brothers உண்டான ஃபேமிலி, they adopted charity as the 5th brother. எத்தனை பேருக்கு தெரியாதுங்க? They adopted charity as the 5th brother. Now when you talk about social responsibility, it's definitely not about charity. But the city has rich cultural heritage. That's why I gave that example. You don't look at doing for fellow human beings anymore as charity. That's one thing which you have to remember. வாங்குறதை விட கொடுக்கறதுல இருக்க சந்தோஷம் ஜாஸ்தியா இல்லைங்களா? வாங்குறதுல விட கொடுக்கறதுல இருக்க சந்தோஷம் ஜாஸ்தியா இல்லைங்களா? காலையில எந்திரிச்சு வேலைக்கு வரோம். So all of us in industry, we started measuring individuals' contribution in terms of economic value add. We don't measure in terms of time. We don't measure in terms of task. Those days are gone. So what value addition an individual brings in is what is all important for us in corporate world today. What we call as economic value add. So principal also raised a main issue. Sir, irukkiradhiliye management வந்து tough on a management. All of you know there are 5 M's in management, right? What are the 5 M's? Man, machine, material, money and methods, right? தூக்கத்துல எந்திரிச்சு கேட்டாலும் அது தரணும். Don't pretend what we are thanks to our mothers. I'm sure professors will agree with me. Again, thanks to the social evolution, we all grew up when dual career families were not prevalent. Those days are gone. Women are equally important. Just now we completed our women's celebrations. Women are equally important as much as male are important in this society. Today in India, close to 25% to 26% of the GDP is contributed by women in this country. There are many contributions from the women which go unnoticed. And this happens in the village. This happens in the village. You can see anything and everything in a mother. She is the best finance manager. She is the best operations manager. She is the best sales manager as well. Whom do you go to first when you have a requirement or need? You go to your father or go to your mother? You go to your mother, right? She becomes the influencer when you have something. But how many of us willing to reflect what our mother is all about? What his mother is all about? Friends, the economic value chain, it has its own challenges. It brings a lot of challenges with us. As we evolve as a materialistic society, நாங்கெல்லாம் வளரும் பொழுது சைக்கிள் வச்சுட்டு இருந்தாலே பெரிய சந்தோஷம். சைக்கிளில் தான் ஸ்கூலுக்கு போவோம். சைக்கிள் ஹெல்த் வாஸ் ஆல்சோ பெட்டர் தோஸ் டேஸ் பிகாஸ் வி ஆர் ஃபிசிக்கலி எக்ஸாஸ்டிங் ஆர் எக்ஸசைசிங் அவர் செல்ஸ். இன்னைக்கு காலையில் எழுந்திரிச்சு 2 வீலர் வேணும், மினிமம் ஒரு 2 வீலர் வேணும் காலேஜ் வந்துட்டு போகிறதுனா. Nothing wrong. We have evolved. Today, the prosperity levels have evolved. And as a businessman, as a manufacturer, I'm very happy. What is the purpose of an organization? Of course, it has to make profit. There's no second thought about it. But I've always believed profit is a byproduct. I repeat, I have always believed profit is a byproduct. You need to have a buyer. Only then you can make and sell. If you don't have a buyer, you can't make and sell. And it's from the person who buys, the consumer, you make all the money. And who is the consumer? The society is the consumer. At the end of the economic value chain, it is always the society. We produce and we consume, and this is a closed cycle, closed loop. And as much as this cycle enlarges itself, you have tremendous challenges to come across. Today, the e-waste. How many of you here are using the same cell phone you have purchased for the first time? Very rare, right? As the generation changes, we keep changing the cell phones. I'm just giving one example. Can you imagine what kind of challenge it puts on the Mother Earth? E-waste management is today a big challenge today. E-waste management. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against e-commerce. I'm a personal follower and big fan of e-commerce. It becomes a lot of social benefits. As the society evolved itself, as the economy evolved itself, I was mentioning we are in the cusp of becoming an innovation society. But then our consumer behavior is also evolving alongside. முன்னாடியெல்லாம் கடைக்கு போனோம்னா இட் வாஸ் அ கம்பல்சிவ் ஷாப்பிங். ஏதாவது வாங்கணும்னா கடைக்கு போவோம் இல்லைங்களா? Then it became convenient shopping. வீட்டு பக்கத்தில் கடை ஒன்று வேணுங்கும் போது வாங்கிக்கலான்னு. How do you define your shopping experience now? Why do you go to malls? You go to malls only for buying something? No, it's become a pleasure shopping. It's become a pleasure shopping. It's no more shopping. போனா கடைக்கும் போலாம். கரெக்டுங்களா? போனா கடைக்கும் போலாம். அப்படியே சாமானை வாங்கிட்டு வந்தா பிடிச்சிருந்தா வாங்கிட்டு வருவோம். So many of us do window shopping. Now, can you imagine the kind of pressure it puts on Mother Earth? All the shopping malls. They are power gustless. They are power gustless. You go to Prozone, or you go to Brookfields, or you go to Fun Mall, it's equivalent to running 10 companies of my size, which I run. ஏன்னா ஏர் கண்டிஷனிங் இருந்தால் தான் உள்ள போகிறோம், வெரைட்டிஸ் டிஸ்பிளே பண்ணால் தான் உள்ள போகிறோம். 70% of the cost is incurred for what not is sold. For the infrastructure, for the people there, for the stock that is there. You agree with me or not? Can you please leave the door closed again? Yeah. Will you agree with me or not? 70% of the price what we pay is for what we are not purchasing. And that's the reason why e-commerce has years to say, and that's the only thing which is going to be savior of the ecological balance. Because you save time, you save energy, you save in at least in terms of fuel, what you use to commute. So friends, with all the level of education what we have, if we can't demonstrate social responsibility, 50% of the Indian population does not have the privilege or liberty of being educated to the level what we are in today. Whether you call yourself undergraduate or postgraduate, it does not matter. So as I said, where does corporate social responsibility? Today's professionals, today's students are going to be tomorrow's professionals or entrepreneurs. And if you don't imbibe the qualities of social responsibility today here on the campus, when you are guided when you have all the freedom to decide what you want to do in the future, can you demonstrate as a professional or an entrepreneur the social responsibility? This question is for everyone. For everyone. I have always believed education cannot be forced or taught. It has to be learned. There's a lot of difference when I say between teaching and learning. Learning is one when you internalize everything what you acquire as knowledge. That's when wisdom exemplifies. Whereas in teaching, it is a one-way process. I'm sure professors will agree with me what I'm saying. End of the day, a professor is happy only when you have learned. And that's important. And there is a dissonance, what we call. When I say something, only 70% goes into your ears, or probably you remember, that is when you are in full attention. If you're not in attention, it is less than 50%. So if it goes to the third person, it is 70% of 70%. At the end of the day, it cannot more than 15%. This is a big challenge in the industries what we have today, corporate world. In apex level, as a management, we take a decision. By the time it reaches our employees, not even 10% reaches them. Because that's the level of dissonance what we have in communication, interpersonal communication. உங்களுக்கு மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் டாபிக்ஸ் இருக்கான்னு தெரியலைங்க, but I will wish to leave a thought here. All of us have 3 ego statuses. And please remember, this is very important for you to remember, because individual, unless otherwise you recognize that there is a value for yourself. And as a human being, it is your responsibility to treat the fellow human being as a human being first, then as a consumer or an employee. Parent, adult, child. These 3 ego statuses we have to remember always. As we grow as human beings, as we age, the responsibility also increases. First we start as a child, that's a child ego status. Then we become an adult, we start earning. Then when we get married, we become a parent. But tell me, despite the kind of growth what we have, or the evolution what we have from being a child to a parent, நம்மளால அந்த 3 ஈகோ ஸ்டேட்டஸ் எப்பவுமே இல்லாம இருக்க முடியுமா? ஒரு குழந்தைகளோட பழகும் பொழுது you have to go to that status, child status, ego status. When you're dealing with your spouse or somebody with equal level, you go to the adult status. Then at some point of time, when you become a grandmother or a grandparent, then you become real parent. That's when you become a parent. Imagine if this role reverses. 60 வயசுக்கு மேலான குழந்தைங்க ஆயிரும். I have my mother-in-law with me. She's 85 years old. She's as good as a kid. Please believe me, she's as good. I'm very unfortunate to lose my parents quite early in my life. I lost my parents, both my parents, before I attained 35 years of age. But fortunately, I had a mother-in-law as good as a mother for me, who lives with us and who's been living with us for many years now. But today, having she reached 85 years, is as good as a kid to us. Imagine the same 3 ego statuses when you take to the organization. Very, very important. Once, a very senior professional advised me, who was an executive director of a very leading corporate in the country, Nitin, the biggest advantage what we have for yourself is you have never left your childishness in you. You have never left your childishness in you. That's what keep you enthusiastic and keep moving ahead in your career. Please don't lose it. But there are always 2 schools of thought. Some of my fellow professionals feel that sometimes childishness doesn't work. But then you decide what suits your style of leadership. So whenever I get an opportunity to interact with fellow professionals or my customers, I don't talk business more than 10% of the time. If I spend 1 hour, it's not more than 10 minutes, I speak business. But remaining 15 minutes, I speak about anything and everything, but not business. Because at my level, if I focus only on business for 1 hour, definitely the results will be not as desirable. So why I'm saying this example is, as we grow up, these 3 ego statuses are very, very important. And that's what determines our social consciousness. And that's what leads to social responsibility. As I began saying, PSG adopted fifth brother, charity as the fifth brother when they started the educational institutions. Today, unfortunately or fortunately, social responsibility has to be thrusted upon by way of the governance. And we have to blame ourselves for that, nobody else. Because the kind of importance what we start giving to money and materialistic society, unfortunately, we have lost out on both the social value systems and the cultural value systems. Again, I repeat, and those are the two capitals why still India is prospering. Whether we like it or not, 2 years down the line, probably 2 decades down the line, India will be the second largest economy in the world. And thanks to youngsters like you. Having said that, as I said in the beginning, I only gave an example of the e-waste. But anything and everything today we consume comes from the Mother Earth. You agree with me or not? The fundamental product evolves or gets shaped only because something the nature gives. Iron out, steel out, aluminum out, salt, what we use. Everything comes from the Mother Earth. Plastics, petroleum products, wood, the chairs what you sit, the spectacles what you wear, even the dresses what you wear. Everything comes from the Mother Earth. So there is a famous saying, we live in a society not which belongs to us, which we have borrowed from our next generation. We live in a society not which belongs to us, but we have borrowed from the next generation. How many of you believe in that? And that is where your social responsibility starts. If you start believing in that you want to leave a better world for your children, then you are socially conscious individual. Corporate social responsibility and personal social responsibility should coexist. In L&T, when I was part of L&T, all of us were encouraged to have at least one personal social responsibility. And I chose education as my personal social responsibility. That is why I still spend a lot of time with educational institutions. I spend a lot of time with young professionals, budding professionals, and with children. I continue to spend. I get motivated and get enthused as well. So for me, CSR is not much more than corporate social responsibility, it's citizen social responsibility. For me, CSR is citizens' social responsibility. Today, in the governance parlance, the measure is 3 Ps. What are the 3 Ps? What are the 3 Ps? அதெல்லாம் சொல்லிக் கொடுக்குறீங்களா சொல்லிக் கொடுக்குறது இல்லைங்களா? சோஷியல் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி இது முக்கியமான சமாச்சாரங்கள் இதெல்லாம். People, planet and profits. Profit comes last. People, planet and profit. So primary responsibility as a professional or entrepreneur is to take care of the people, meaning society. Then in terms of bringing an ecological balance, it's important for you to take care of your Mother Earth as well, planet. இது ரெண்டும் இருந்தா ஒழிய you should not think about profits. You should not think. Profit is not at the cost of both society and the ecology. That's what the meaning of the 3P approach is. Please remember, as we move forward, certain few fundamental principles of livelihood, again I'm repeating, livelihood is very, very important, which will determine the future for yourself and the future for the society. Again, I repeat, if there is no future for the society, there is no future for businesses. And if there is no future for the businesses, there is no future for the economy as well. And as the economy progresses, each one of us, the behavior has to be more and more socially conscious and responsible as well. Freedom brings a lot of responsibility. So in terms of consumption, power, for example, நம்மளா முடிவு பண்ணோம் லைட் தேவையா இல்லையாங்கிறது. டெக்னாலஜி இஸ் டுடே ஹெல்பிங். தெர் இஸ் நோ செகண்ட் தாட் அபவுட் இட். நிறைய ஹோட்டல்ஸ் போனீங்கன்னா இப்போ வீட்லயே அடாப்ட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க ஆட்டோமேட்டட் ஹோம்ஸ். நீங்க இருந்தா மட்டும்தான் லைட் எரியும், இல்லைன்னா லைட் எரியாது. தட் சென்சார்ஸ் டுடே ஆர் ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல். Similarly, sitting, using your cell phone, you can control your air conditioners, you can control your refrigeration. Technology is also helping that way. But then we have to decide what is important for us. So I have believed, தாத்தா பாட்டி எல்லாம் நல்லபடியா சொல்லி கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. 1 rupee is saving is equivalent to 100 rupees earning. இல்லைங்களா? அதுதான் இன்னைக்கு social responsibility is also defining. To save is much more than to expend. So for me, the 3 R's சொல்லுவாங்க. What are the 3 R's? Reduce, recycle, reuse. இல்லைங்களா? For me, the first R is only 3 R I have. Reduce, reduce, reduce. ஏன் கன்சியூம் பண்ணிட்டு அது அப்புறம் ரீசைக்கிள் பண்ணும், அதுக்கப்புறம் ரீயூஸ் பண்ற ட்ரை பண்ணும்? You agree with me or not? First and foremost, why do you want to consume something which is not required to be consumed? So at my age, I don't use a lift when I go to the buildings. I don't use. I am fit enough to walk and I demonstrate the fitness to the youngsters like you. And I'm proud of it. That's why I said in the beginning, unless otherwise you start respecting yourself, you don't respect your fellow human being. And your respect for yourself comes in understanding thoroughly what your capabilities and capacities are. Social responsibility again. So friends, as we move forward, let's not look at corporate social responsibility in isolation from that of our personal social responsibilities are. The society needs more people who are responsible towards the society and more so with responsible towards the Mother Earth and the people in the society. Only one request I have for the next generation, please be very careful in what you are using and more importantly, what you don't have to use. Businessல எல்லாருமே சொல்லுவாங்க, the success lies in not what you are doing, but most importantly what you are not doing. ஏன்னா என்ன பண்ணணுங்கிறது எல்லாத்துக்கும் தெரியும். There are a lot of market researches which is available today. You know exactly where the market is going. There are a lot of indices based on which we get the dollar and euro exchange rate. That's how I wake up morning. First எடுத்தோன்னா செல்போன்ல அதான் what is the crude oil price today, because my 70% of the business comes from oil and gas sector. And 95% of what I do is for export market, which is either dollar terms or euro terms. ரெண்டும் பார்க்காம my day doesn't start. If it is good, I'm happy. If it is bad, I try to control my mood to keep as bubbly as possible. So for us, the compulsions are very different. And as businessmen, you're really happy when the consumerism is beyond. But having said that, I always tell people to look at savings. Saving is not only in terms of money. Save energy, save water. My mother-in-law used to tell, if at all there is going to be a next world war, it's going to be for the water. It's going to be for water. 20 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி நாங்கெல்லாம் வரும்போது யாரும் நம்பி இருக்க மாட்டாங்க. Water is going to become a marketable commodity. யாராவது நம்பி இருப்போமா? Today, it's because you're not paying for the water inside, but you're paying for what is the container is. But then, imagine the kind of ecological imbalance it is becoming. So, முடிஞ்ச அளவு அந்த mineral water plastic bottle வாங்கி குடிக்கிறது avoid பண்ணுங்க. முடிஞ்ச அளவு. It is possible 99% of the time. Nothing. நம்ம தான் முடிவு பண்ணுங்க. நிறைய பேர் taking back to the shopping as people thought it's unfashionable. But then today it's become fashionable to say that I am carrying my own bag. Similarly, when you start carrying a flask with you along, people will pick up. உங்களை பார்த்து 4 பேர் பழகுவாங்க. That's how, when I started saying, I live in a very, very controlled, habitual manner, at least 5 days in a week. Very controlled, habitual. Thanks to 2 doctors at home, both my spouse and daughter are doctors, medical professionals. எப்படி வேணா வாழலாங்கிறது ரொம்ப ஈஸிங்க. இப்படித்தான் வாழணும்னு நீங்க முடிவு பண்ணி பாருங்க, அப்பதான் தெரியும் எவ்வளவு கஷ்டங்கள் அப்படின்னு. So living a principled life is all that matters to demonstrate your social responsibility. Friends, it's a very, very important topic. Please internalize the topic and please gain wisdom in leveraging the knowledge what you gain out of the seminars like this. And people have taken efforts to ensemble an assembly of papers, and I'm sure I believe the topics are also going to be of more of social relevance than individual relevance. Obviously, which is of social relevance will also be of relevance to individuals, and demonstrate as much as possible your personal responsibility so that the social responsibility, as you evolve as professionals and entrepreneurs, you will live to the expectations of the next generation. I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity and pray to the Almighty to bless you all with a wonderful future and a beautiful world to live in. Thanks again.
Thank you, sir. I now request our beloved principal and secretary to honor the chief guest with a memento. No duty is more than that of returning thanks. Now, I call upon Mr. Rahul of 2nd BCom CS to deliver the oath of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's session a resounding success. First and foremost, I thank our special chief guest, Dr. Nithyanandan Devaraj Sir, CEO, Managing Director, DSIF FLS, Innovation and Technology Division, who despite his busy schedule has found time to grace this occasion. Thank you so much, sir. It was a very wonderful talk. Thank you, sir. My heartfelt thanks to the management and the ICSSR for their sponsorship, guidance, and encouragement in all our efforts. Now, I thank our well-wishers, our principal and secretary, Dr. B.L. Shivakumar, sir, for his stewardship, support, vision, and commitment. Thank you very much, sir. I would also like to thank my brilliant and truly understanding HOD, Dr. D. Santanakrishnan, sir, whose leadership and effort has steered this project from day one. Thanks a lot, sir. I need to mention my deepest sense of appreciation to all my department staffs, Dr. D. Renuka Devi ma'am, Dr. Mohan sir, Dr. Dinesh sir, and Ms. Vaini Sri for their offstage hard work and contribution. And finally, I take immense pleasure in extending my sincere thanks to all the office bearers, the volunteers, and my colleagues for their active participation. Finally, I leave you all with this inspiring quote by Martin Luther King. An individual has not started living until he rises above the confines of his individualistic concern to the broader concern of whole humanity. Once again, I thank you all. Thank you so much.